What is going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode. If you guys are new here, my name is Jaron Geyser, and this channel is all about fishing, angling, and tips and tricks on how to make you guys more effective out on the water. Today, we are talking all about Ned rigs, Ned baits, all that jazz. So let's go over those today, and hopefully this will help you guys out with your Ned rig fishing. Pretty much that temperature the whole way through. Get that tail, that famous dock.
On that old Berkeley popper, man. Dang, another nice one.
So here in Pennsylvania, we are in not the dead of winter, but the beginning of the winter season. Obviously, there's not ice on my local bodies of water yet, but here soon there will be ice. But when cold water comes around, the Ned rigs are broken out in my local area. There's so many people throwing the Ned rig. There's so many people that utilize the Ned bait for good reason, because it catches a ton of fish, and it catches fish even on those tough days when the water temps are even below 40. You can catch a lot of fish and be extremely effective. I know for me, the Ned rig is such a confidence bait for me whenever it comes to cold water, whenever it comes to probably our 4 coldest months, November, December, January, and February. I don't leave home without the Ned rig. But if you guys are looking for any of this stuff that I'm mentioning in this whole video, I will be linking it down in the description. So if you guys are looking for anything when it comes to Ned fishing, you can easily go down into the description and it'll all be sitting there for you. So Ned heads. Ned heads come in all kinds of shapes, sizes, hook variations, everything else. One of the staple Ned heads for me that I fish every time I'm out in the water would be the Strike King Pro Grade, the 3/16 ounce. If I'm going to be fishing more than 20 feet of water, which we do if we go up to the St. Lawrence every once in a while, which this past fall, me and one of my friends went up to the St. Lawrence and we were fishing 3/8 ounce. I don't know if that can focus or not, but it's 3/8. These are 3/8 ounce Ned heads. They're just an absolute big old chunk of lead. But whenever you're fishing more than 20 feet of water and you're seeing those fish on your graph, you need to get down there as fast as possible. A 3/16 in 40 to 50 feet of water, it takes quite a long time for that to descend, to go down to those fish. So having some bigger Ned heads in your box can absolutely make or break the day when you're fishing deeper water. So we are going to go over my rig, the tackle that I use, the rod, the reel, the line that I use for Ned fishing. So the rod and reel setup that I have, this is a 7-foot medium light action rod. It's actually a old Field and Stream Tech Light that I have. I've not been able to part with this rod. It has micro guides on it. I have a 2500 series. This is a Daiwa Exceller. Great reel for the money. If you're looking for a budget spinning reel, this reel is phenomenal for what you're getting out of it. It's really great. I have 8-pound braid down to a 6-pound leader. Again, you're going finesse. This is not power fishing. This is dragging bottom, feeling for that bite. And so that brings us down to the baits, the actual Ned baits that you put on your Ned heads. The main company out there that so many people fish is Z-Man. Z-Man is such a staple in the Ned rig fishing community. They make an absolute phenomenal bait out there, but there are a couple other honorable mentions out there. There are a bunch of companies that make some really good Ned baits too. So we're going to go over a couple of my favorite. If I have to pick 2, I'm going to give you guys my top 2 Ned baits that I fish on a consistent basis. Now, color-wise, that varies a little bit whenever it comes to water clarity and also water temperature, but I will show you guys the models that I fish, my top 2. If I only had to pick 2, I'm going to show you guys my top 2 Ned baits. So, the old staple TRD. There's so many people that fish it out there, and it is an absolute fish catcher. But I find myself kind of drifting away from it just for the simple fact that there's so many people that throw it out there. And I sort of find myself either going one way or the other when it comes to style of bait with Ned fishing. I usually find myself either going more finesse or going more buggier than a TRD. So original TRD, I actually have one here, but the original TRD is just a simple stick bait. As you can see, there's nothing super intriguing about it, but for whatever reason, the fish love this thing. It doesn't matter really where you're fishing in the country, this thing will catch fish hands down every day. This one from Z-Man is buoyant because it is Elastec, so whenever it hits the bottom, it has a tendency to float up off the bottom. And that's one thing that Z-Man, as far as all the Z-Man baits go, they are so phenomenal in that aspect that they do stick off the bottom. With some of the other baits out there, they won't exactly stick off the bottom unless your head is laying, perfectly vertical. They tend to fall over. So Z-Man is an absolute killer when it comes to that whole realm. But for me, myself, I find myself either leaning more toward the buggier side of things or going more finesse. So I will show you guys what I mean by that here in a minute. But I always find myself, I do have that original TRD in my box all the time, but I see a lot of people throw it. So I kind of feel like those fish, especially later on in the winter, they see that TRD quite a bit. And I feel like, switching up baits a little bit can give you that little bit of edge just to get that extra bite. So what I mean by going more finesse, I find myself actually throwing a trick shot. Now this is actually a lot of people use it for a drop shot. This bait actually works extremely well as a Ned bait. I throw this quite a bit in the Susquehanna River. I feel like it imitates a leech or imitates a hellgrammite very, very well. So I would definitely say number one on my two would definitely be a trick shot. Trick shots are just absolutely killer. And again, these are made by Z-Man, so they are elastic. So that bait does have a tendency to stick straight up. And here, I'll break one out for you. You guys can take a look and see. As you can see, compared to the original TRD, now this is a big TRD. I don't have an original size, the finesse size in here right now. But looking at the difference in size, this is definitely a little bit more of a finesse approach to the Ned rig. So my number two pick would definitely have to be the TRD BUGZ. This bait absolutely kills for me on the Susquehanna River, or even our local lakes. I absolutely kill fish on this thing. Now, whenever I say this is gonna go a little bit more toward the buggier aspect of it, going more toward like a crawfish or maybe a hellgrammite, little cross between. But as you can see here, if it'll focus, it's just a little baby, kind of a beaver tail straight, do nothing action on the little baits. But I will say, I find myself leaning, like I said, a little bit either more toward that finesse aspect of it or a little bit more toward that buggy aspect. This is definitely a little bit more of my buggier aspect. I do have a bunch more Ned baits out there that are, a little bit different than this, but these are the two that I find myself throwing all the time. So if I had to pick two, I would definitely go with the TRD BUGZ and also the trick shots. I definitely throw these all the time. So there you have it. There's my take on Ned fishing in general. There's so many baits out there. There's so many options to go with. So there you have it, guys. My little take on the TRD platform, the whole TRD rig. So with that being said, thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to watch this video and supporting the channel. So hopefully this will help you guys out a little bit with selecting baits to go on your Ned rigs, and also if you guys want to go and check out that deadly little Ned head that I use, you will not regret it. That thing sticks fish all the time for me. Hopefully this is helpful for you guys. If you guys want to go down and leave me a like, leave me a comment, tell me what you guys think about the video. Again, thank you so much for watching. God bless, and we will catch you guys next time.